This product right here, it seems like a pretty simple thing. A mic, an audio interface, and that's it, right? Well, let me tell you, for the price, it's so much more than I expected. Let's take a look at it on your boot sequence. So this is the ADcaster C1 K1 from Comica. It's a product that I literally didn't know I wanted. I mean, I literally recorded this video twice because my opinion on it changed so much and just kept getting better as I kept using it. Anyways, it's aimed at streamers and podcasters, but the particular thing I think it does really well is multi-streaming. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's dig into the box. Yeah, it's a little bit of a jumbled mess inside here because I had already opened and used the product, but this is kind of what you're getting, except it's way better packed in 2 layers of foam and stuff. So for the microphone, what you get is the bottom piece, which is a nice and heavy cast iron pedestal with a little thing that goes up and down. It's about a 2-inch travel here. So here, you get a little pedestal, travels up and down about 2 inches. You have a nice shock mount filter, and of course, the microphone. Actually, you get this too, which is a metal pop filter. But I want to talk about the microphone because it's actually kind of interesting the way they designed it. So this part here, usually on professional microphones, as I've had, actually, this is black on black. Let me get a nice background for you guys. Okay, this should be way clearer now, but for the microphone, this part here, usually on pro mics or really inexpensive mics like this one, for example, that came with my Scarlett, the top here isn't really serviceable. If you get any kind of crass here, like spit and stuff, if you try to clean it, it's just gonna get pushed into the grate. With the Comica here, the STAX2S, I guess is the name of the model, you can actually remove that part. So you just twist this off. It's a couple of twists, so you can clean the top if you want to. This cylinder pulls off, revealing an extra layer of wind protection. So some foam here and some rectangular foam here that you can clean, but here is the capsule. So you can literally clean the entirety of the microphone with this, and I think that's pretty cool. On top of that, what you have here is a capsule mounted on some kind of rubber here, and that adds an extra layer of shock protection. So if you're an XQC type and start banging on the table, this thing will just jiggle it out. All right, let me put it back together. And now let's put the microphone on the pedestal itself. So that's our little shock mount on the pedestal, and the pop filter, the metal one, all you have to do is press fit it, just like that. So this is the completed microphone for the front camera. On the top camera, it just looks like, well, the top of a microphone. Anyways, enough nerding out about the design of the microphone. How does it sound? And what the hell is this? Well, I'm gonna hook up the microphone to it and we're gonna hear how it sounds for the rest of the video. All right, so this is the sound of the microphone, but let's talk about this. This is the audio interface / the DSP that comes with the C1 K1 kit. At first, it might seem like a little bit daunting with all of the 3.5mm jacks on the top right there, but it's actually not as complicated as it seems. At the top of the unit, there's 6 jack ports. From the left to right, or however you want to do it, you have 2 outputs. These can be connected to computers or tablets or phones, as long as they still have a 3.5mm port. Mine does not. Then you have a speaker port, pretty self-explanatory, an aux port, that's an input for, once again, phones, computers, etc. And you have 2 inputs. These are for your microphones. This mic that comes with the kit uses this port right here, one of the 2. On the right side of the unit, you have a USB-C port. That's to use it as an audio interface, for example, on your computer or your phone. For the computer, you might want to download ASIO for All to make it work with a DAW, but it worked for me without ASIO for All, so I guess it's going to depend on what DAW you use. You have your on-off switch and your power button. That's curious. Why is there 2? Well, we'll get back to that in a moment. And at the bottom here, you got your good old headphone jack right there. There's one on the right side as well, which is the one that I'm connected to right now. Yay, symmetry. Going back to inputs, on the left side here, you have another USB-C port, and that one is for a USB-C to dual XLR adapter that is We'll get to what happened in a second. But yeah, there is a cable that converts this USB-C into 2 XLR inputs. And lastly, you have a USB-C port for charging. Just like the power button, we'll get back to this in a second. So in total, if you counted, there's 4 mic inputs, 2 here and 2 through the XLR. But there's only 2 dials for the volume on microphones. That's because input 1 at the top and the XLR1 on the side share the same preamp. Same for input 2 and XLR2. So you can have up to 4 microphones hooked up, and with phantom power, by the way. You just press that button to control, meaning that you can have 4 mics hooked up, but 2 of them will be controlled with the input 1 dial and the 2 others into input 2. It's a really neat way to add more inputs to a device without spending more on preamps, especially at the price point, which I'll reveal at the end of the video. Okay, so we got through all the ins and outs. Let's play with this thing. To turn it on, you press and hold the power button, the one right here, and then flip the switch. And you can do that without any wires connected to it. That's because this thing has a
1800
milliamp hour battery, so that A, it doesn't drain your phone battery while you're using it, and B, it works with devices that would use the 3.5mm jack, because that doesn't really provide power. That's cool. Oh, and that's why there's a USB-C plug right here to charge the battery. So next, you plug everything in. Here I'm plugged to my computer, and here is the microphone. And this brings us to this here at the top, where all the magic is happening. You have the control for the DSP. A DSP in the older days would have, built-in effects like reverb, compression, etc. So this is kind of it. On the left side, we can change the tone of the audio. So let's go ahead and test it. By pressing EQ right here, I can have a slightly deeper low end for my voice. I don't know if you can tell, but this is what this specific mode does. You could go for nature, which is a bit more of a mid boost for the voices. And lastly, you have bright, which will sound very tinny. So this would be it. This is great to cut through a mix. Let's say it's very loud in your mix, and what you want is something to just punch through. This will kind of do it. But with the way I speak, there's a lot of sibilance in it. So depending on the way you speak, it might act differently. I'm going to go back to deep mode because I kind of like it. Right next to EQ, you have a reverb. So you could go from a small reverb, hello, small reverb. I really like the small one, medium. So this is medium reverb. And lastly, the one that everybody likes, the long reverb. I really like that one. Anyways, I'm going to bring it back to regular no reverb. And then right after that, you have the effects. So there's 5 preset baked in effects. The first one being tune. So this is like auto-tune. This is like auto-tune. Okay, it's tuned to the major scale, so you have to be conscious of that when using it. If you're going to play a song, it's the major scale. Then you have female.
I'm really not sure if I sound like a girl here, but it's a voice changer. It sounds a lot like the voice changer that Pierogi uses. Not Pierogi, the other one.
Yeah, you don't need to shout. Take a breath. Hey, Abel, I have the, I don't know if you heard me before. I have one of the codes. I got,
Yes,
this is a
I can see
$500 code.
To have male, so that would be for a female to sound more like a male. I'm gonna try to, I tried to speak like a girl to get a male effect. Doesn't work. But it does work on a female. I tried it with my girlfriend. Let's try another one.
This is the robot one. The one that my name is ChatGPT. And lastly, there's Monster.
Which just sounds like, in these news shows, whenever they have someone that they don't want to keep their identity secret, this is the filter that they use.
So yeah, those were the baked-in effects, and of course, you can change how loud they are using the input knobs right here. Now, you might have noticed the Bluetooth logo here. Well, let's say you wanted to have music in the background of your live or your podcast. You could basically stream some Spotify or YouTube music right into the unit. So I would just play something on my phone, connect it to that, and it would go through the mix here. I've already talked about these 2 knobs, but what about this one? Well, this one controls all of the external sounds, so that's the Bluetooth or any of the extra inputs here. You can basically turn it up and down. The big dial here is for the headphone monitoring and the output. So you can change it by pressing this. So right now I'm changing my headphones here. And if I press that, then I'm changing the volume that I'm recording on my computer currently. I don't want to change that, so I'm just going to press that again. Right under this are more audio effects, I guess. Although these are really useful. You have a built-in denoiser. So I don't know if you've been hearing it, but the AC's been running in the background this whole time. Yeah, so let me go ahead and press denoise. And there's no more noise. The gate is aggressive. The attack delay, the attack and the sustain of the actual denoising is very, very noticeable, but it's so dead silent when you're not speaking. And the attack is fast enough that it wouldn't really make a difference in a live stream, especially if you have music playing in the background. Then you have loopback. So for example, right now it's connected to my computer. Let's say I started playing a YouTube video on my computer or Spotify on my computer. Well, you wouldn't hear it right away. It's once I press loopback that the audio from the PC would actually loop into the device and back out. So the final mix would actually have that in. In the same vein, you have duck. So if you had music or a video playing on your computer, well, duck would make sure that that audio lowers itself down 90% to leave your voice be the presence. So it ducks the background audio. And lastly, yeah, I just said it's mute, it's self-explanatory. And lastly, down here, you have 6 pads. Now, these aren't like drum pads like you would find on a MIDI controller. They're just triggers for sound effects. There's 5 pre-baked sound effects that you can't change, and there's one that is customizable. So let's go through them. Of course, applause. Yes, of course. You have your traditional laugh track. You know, things that you would have anyways on your sound effect board. That one and the sexy one, of course. Now, the last one is a totally customizable one. I'm not going to press it because I'm not sure what I put in last in it. But what you could do is something like this. So to be able to overwrite what's on it, you press and hold until it flashes. Then you speak what you've got to speak and you press again. And that's what this is now. So if I press it, you speak what you've got to speak and you press again. You speak what you've got to speak and you press again. Yep, it's as easy as that. Or of course, if you had auxiliary audio coming in, so like YouTube video or Spotify once again, well, you would be able to use that input with loopback to, put your own sound effect on that. It's really nice to have a custom button. I just wish you could do that with all 6 buttons. So Comica, you should do that on the next one too. And yeah, there you have it. That's everything the ADcaster can do. I mean, I tried it with my phone, I tried it with my PC, I tried it with my laptop, and you know, this thing is just awesome. Oh, and the price, of course, it's something that I've been talking about for a while now. It's $169. That's dirt cheap. Okay, I'm gonna stop playing with the effects. I mean, it's crazy. My low-end first microphone from the late 2000s was more expensive than that. And there was no DSP, no audio interface, nothing. The capsule was about the same size. It was just an XLR microphone. It's just a crazy time we live in where you can get that much bang for your buck. I mean, you could stream your audio on 3 different platforms at the same time with this if you wanted to. Twitch on your PC, Instagram Live on your phone, and TikTok on your tablet. You could literally have a podcast in your car. And you could do this because it has what, like three outputs? It's insane. It makes me just want to stream again. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Do you like the sound? I know I do, especially with the effects. In any case, that's pretty much it for today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Click the clickities to watch some more stuff if you want to. As usual, stay frosty, my dudes, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, I have to do this with some reverb. Okay, you ready? This is the Thanos snap, the Thanosist snap I've ever made.